Hi, so today on Turning Points, we're looking at the Battle of Britain. Now, in the summer of 1941, the Germans had conquered most of Europe, they'd occupied France and were just 25 miles away from England. Their plan was to force England to surrender or sign a peace treaty, and failing that, to launch a full-scale invasion of the British Isles, which was going to be called Operation Sea Lion. Now, the first step in all of this was to gain air superiority over the British Isles, and this meant, of course, defeating the Royal Air Force. And this plan here was to simply shoot down planes, kill pilots, and also to attack the RAF infrastructure, airfields, radar sites, factories that produced planes, and so on. This became a war of attrition, with both sides losing many planes and pilots in the daily dogfights and bombing raids fought in the skies over southern England. By late August 1941, the Germans seemed to have the upper hand and seemed to be actually winning the Battle of Britain. They were destroying more RAF planes and pilots than the RAF was able to replace them with. And some historians have estimated that if this had continued at the same rate for another 3 weeks, the RAF would have exhausted all their reserves and the Germans could well have won the Battle of Britain. But something changed. On September the 6th, none other than the Führer himself, Adolf Hitler, ordered the Luftwaffe to switch their attacks from the RAF itself to attacking English cities and civilian areas. This mass bombing campaign became known as the Blitz, and whilst it caused a huge amount of destruction of property and civilian casualties, it also gave the RAF a chance to regroup, refresh their attacks, and from then on it was the RAF who were destroying more German planes than the other way round. The change in strategy proved to be the turning point in the Battle of Britain, but what many people don't realise is that the Führer had made the decision in response to an RAF bombing raid on Berlin. On August the 25th, 91 bombers had set off from England to bomb Tempelhof Airport. It was a cloudy night. Many of the bombs missed their targets and landed on residential areas and killed German civilians. Hitler was infuriated by this, and it was that triggered him to order his change in strategy. As the RAF started to get the upper hand and German casualties mounted, it became apparent that they were not going to win the Battle of Britain. Operation Sea Lion was cancelled and Hitler turned his attention elsewhere, and in particular to the east. In December 1941, the Germans invaded Russia, and that of course changed the outcome of World War II and indeed world history ever since.